Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Yeah, hope you slept well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very well, thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Hello?
We slept well, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Okay, fine. Well done. Yeah, the host actually just sent the link. I think we'll be starting in a good time today. Yeah, so so far, I think just few persons are on. I could see that James is around. Okay, sorry. I could see that Unisa is around. Ichema. Nafisat is around too. Yeah, so maybe as we progress, this others too will join, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we use this period, this sanitation period that one cannot actually move out or so to have our own class. Yeah, so today we are going to look at group interviewing. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah,
Sir.
Juba, good morning.
Well done, sir.
Good
Thank you,
morning.
sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Huh?
Yes, so we're going to look at group interviewing today. Group interviewing techniques in human services. So what do you actually understand by the concept group interviewing, especially as it pertains to human communication? Any idea? Is there any idea from any of us? Is there any idea? The concept of group interviewing as it pertains communication in human services. Does any of you want to give it a try? Okay, so by group interviewing, we mean a structured or semi-structured kind of communication method in which a human services professional interviews multiple clients or participants simultaneously with the hope of what? Collecting data, assessing needs, or facilitating or problem solving and service delivery. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what we are saying is that this is a one-on-one thing. Rather, it is actually being done in a group. Do you understand? You gather some persons. In fact, as we move on, you discover that even in the group interviewing, we have different kind of groups pertaining maybe the size and all of that. And then maybe the nature of the kind of persons also involved. So by group interviewing, we mean a kind of structured or semi-structured. So when we say structured or semi-structured kind of communication, what exactly are we talking of? Any idea?
Put the question again, sir.
A plan kind of communication, which said already, you have put down your questions or kind out, you planned it.
Okay. So for structured, do you have an example you can give us, John?
Okay, before John gives example,
Yes.
There is a structured, like a form of structured, it is in sequential.
Okay, sequential.
Not mixed.
Yeah, Jiba, you are on. Yeah, network seems to be a bit bad. I don't know whether
like
it's
you go
at
for
my
you okay you. You must.
Oh, this is unfortunate. It's really becoming so bad. I don't know whether it's actually at your own end or my own end. But the network seems to be so bad. Desmond, you want to say something?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, maybe Jiba, maybe you can come over again later if maybe your network improves. Yeah, so I was saying that group interviewing here could be in a structured form or format or semi-structured. You know, in structured kind of interviewing, you can have a list of maybe questions. It could be maybe a form of a questionnaire or so, well structured to address some issues. Why semi-structured? You can actually leave it maybe open-ended for the clients, your own clients to actually make their inputs or thoughts known. And so we say that this can actually be administered on the clients or participants simultaneously in order to elicit what? Data. When you actually want to collect data from your clients in a group, not as individuals. You may also use this to assess needs, their own needs. What exactly could be the needs of such people? As a social development worker, there will be every need for you to actually try to assess the needs of the people in an area, not just assuming what their needs could be. Is that clear? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Class, okay. Network seems to be a bit challenging. I don't know whether it's actually at my own end or at your end.
I think it's general, sir.
Okay. All right. Maybe as we progress, maybe it will be much better or so. So you can actually use this group interview in order to elicit data from your clients in a group form. You can also use it to assess their needs or facilitate problem solving. There could be a problem on ground that you may actually want to solve, and you can use group interviewing to actually solve such problems. And then it can also be used for service delivery when you actually want to administer specific services. Services that ordinarily you can't just maybe administer to maybe individuals. As we move on, you will see that one of the advantages of using this group interviewing is that it saves maybe some costs, time, and all of that. So when you're administering these services, instead of doing it on one-on-one basis, you decide to use what? A group in order to what? To render such services. Is that clear? Are we together?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Well,
Oh, okay. All right. So one of the purpose of this group interviewing in human services? What are actually the purposes of this group interviewing in the human services? First is for needs assessment. To be used for what? Needs assessment in order to identify common issues, trends, or concerns among clients or what? Community members. Do you understand? We're saying that one of the purpose of carrying out a group interviewing in human services is to assess, is for needs assessment, where you now try to assess the needs of the people to identify common issues, trends, or concerns being raised by the clients or community members. How do you assess these needs? You can actually gather the people in a group and maybe ask some questions, and you try to probe them so that you have an idea of some common issues among them. Maybe the trends. For instance, maybe the amount of rainfall in that particular area. If they're complaining maybe of rainfall, you try to actually find out from them maybe what has been the trend of rainfall also. And then it can also be used to actually look at other concerns, several concerns among the clients or the community members. Is that clear? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we're with you.
Okay, so the second purpose is that of therapeutic goals. That is, group interviewing here could be used in counseling or support groups, where interviews help to establish cohesion and mutual understanding. What do you understand by support groups? Any idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Tiokosu, please go ahead.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yeah,
So
good morning.
support groups are made up of people who are facing or who are going through the same phase together. For
Okay.
instance, widows may decide to have a support group so that when another widow comes, she will join, and then those widows who have been there before, we help them go through the process of the coping mechanism. We teach them the coping mechanism. Or for instance, somebody who was a drug addict may join a support group, and then the group will assist him or her in avoiding going back to the same drug abuse. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, that is actually correct. Okay, how do you look at this in terms of counseling?
Okay, sir.
In terms of counseling.
Okay, so in terms of counseling, first, I was just wondering, because for how we use this, we call it focal group discussions.
Yes.
Yes. So usually you don't take people who are of different categories and put into one group. For instance, if you have a group of lecturers, those who are professors shouldn't be with those who are just graduate assistants, or let me say those who are teenagers shouldn't be in the same group with those who are adults, and then get boys.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Fanny, and that is actually okay. Yeah, when you're talking about counseling groups.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay, so when in terms of counseling, when
Yes.
you have support, they are of the same category. So you counsel them as a group, and then you are able to you are able to identify within them who is lagging behind, and then you bring the person up to speed, or also professionally advise the other ones to help bring the person up to speed so that they will be on the same level with the rest of the group members.
Okay. Thank you
Sir,
very much. That is actually
sir,
correct.
sir,
Yes.
can we as like under the therapeutic goals, family counseling will be the also a therapeutic goals, because when a family has a issue, family is a group.
Yes.
Yeah, so the counseling too can be a from family. It will be a therapeutic goals as well.
Exactly. Yes. Because at a point, as a family, they could actually be facing a challenge, maybe emotionally and all of that. And then as a professional, you can actually reach out to them as a group, in this case, as a family, not individuals of the family, but as a family, as a group. So is actually okay. That is actually a group. And then you can actually counsel them as a professional. But then I want to also give you a very good example of this counseling. You go to most of these hospitals, especially maybe some missionary hospitals, where you have maybe some groups, for instance, maybe people living with HIV/AIDS. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, we understand, sir.
Yes, so at each point, they can be given maybe some lectures, some counseling. And they are,
yes, sir.
they are being binded together by that common what? Ailment, HIV/AIDS ailment. And so they could be going through same maybe emotional what? Issues and all of that. So as a social development worker, you can actually, or a professional, you can actually administer what? Help to such persons in a group. You can also have maybe, just as somebody gave example, the support group, or maybe widows. A group of widows will come together as a group of widows where they now have what? Something in common binding them together as widows. And so from time to time, maybe as a professional, you can reach out to them to actually render some help to them. Is that clear? Any question? Is there any question?
No question at my answer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's proceed. So what could be the major
No
thing?
question.
Okay. What could actually be the major thing in such groups? At least
Identifying a common goal in such group and try to solve the problem for them. It's just
okay,
like
yes.
the examples you gave on HIV. They are all binded with one same goal, same problem, and their goal is to see how they can live healthy. So all the problem, the common there is how can they live healthy? Then you look for a solution and advise them on that. The same thing with a group of pregnant women on antenatal. If you are talking to one, you are talking to other because the pregnancy have the same symptom and then what to come out of it too. So the goal probably is to see how you can identify the problem they have. That is the goal, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, one major thing in a group is that they must be similar in certain respects. Do you understand? At least to a certain degree. There must be some similarity. As I gave you an example of maybe people living with HIV. You can't bring in maybe people living with HIV in a group, and then you bring other persons maybe just suffering from maybe malaria and any other type of illness. There may not be any similarity in such a group. And so if you are trying to actually render some help to such a group, because there are diverse goals and aspirations in such a group, the aim of actually attending to such a group might actually be what? Defeated. So as much as possible, such groups must have certain things in common, and it makes it easier for such a communication process in that group to actually be more beneficial, even to the clients and then the beneficiaries. Is that clear? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we
So
are together, sir.
the next purpose is that of the program evaluation. That's group interviewing in human services could be one used for program evaluation, where you try to gather what? Feedback on services, interventions, or policies. Do you understand this point?
Very well, sir.
Evaluations. Okay.
Very well, sir.
Yes. For instance, by the time you actually maybe have an intervention in a place, starting a project or so, you can actually, as a group, gather a group, try to get feedback from them. How beneficial has this project been to you? What are actually the challenges? The services that were rendered, are they really of any help? What challenges are you having with them? Or the policies in place, are there any challenges? So you try to actually get the views of the members of such a group. It could be a community coming together in a group. Instead of maybe meeting persons one-on-one to actually try to get this information, especially when maybe such a project is for the general public, maybe in a community. The best thing would have been to actually bring together maybe members of that group or members of that community in a group that could be representing such a group or community, so that you try to elicit information from them on how well they are benefiting from such a project or policy. So the next purpose of carrying out a group interviewing in human services is that of what? Community engagement. Community engagement. As development workers, this should really be very familiar to us. So what actually do we understand by community engagement? And how can we apply group interviewing to community engagement? Any idea?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good
Good
morning.
morning. Yes, sir. If say you want to cite an infrastructure in a community,
Yes.
and you gather members of the community, you know, representatives like their leader, the women, the youth, you gather members of that community to come and sit down and give their own input, make their own input into, you know, the citing of that project.
Okay. Thank you
That
so
would
much.
Okay. In addition to
Okay,
what she
thank you, Lucy.
just said,
John, yes.
okay, in addition to what he just said, in one of our courses here, we were told giving a practical example of a group that went to a particular community to sank a borehole for them, and that in that very community, they believe that water becomes their problem, whereas their major problem was not water in that very particular community. And when they said that side that borehole in that very community for them, it makes the children to access water easily and depriving the parents of intimacy. That because the only time the parents used to have time to to meet with each other is when the children have all gone to stream to go and fish water from there. So if they had discussed with the as a result of that, the parents and the adult end up destroying the borehole, making the borehole not functioning again. That shows that yes, this project ECF does not meet the yearning
and aspirations of the people
of the community as a result of not involving them before they cite such a. It is always good when you are to cite a project in a community, just like Lucy said, you involve the community by involving them. It means you give them the ownership of that project, and the project will serve for the purpose and last longer when they are involved. And when you don't involve them, not hearing from them, at the end of the day, you may end up not doing the right thing, even with the good.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Can I add an input on that?
Oh, okay, please do.
Yeah, we can give an example about the community engagement. For example, let's attribute that to like politics. We have a consistency like state assembly or house of rep that represent each consistency. So once he wants to engage in a community, like as a stockholder, that people are lacking borehole, he will come to the community. He didn't know the map. That's why he's the consistency representative. He will engage with the community. They are the ones to show him the planning where the site of the borehole can be conducted as a community service. So they will be involved in that service planning as well.
Okay.
As a community movement.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, all your views are actually in order. You see, community engagement is very, very important for world development workers. I have told you most times that the greatest mistake some development workers or other service providers make is that they assume things so much for the people. And in most cases, such assumptions are wrong. How will you assume that the need of a community is that of maybe a borehole, water, when in actual sense, if at all you have actually engaged them at the initial stage? They would have made you understand that no, our problem in our community or in our area is light or roads. And because in most cases, there is this lack of community engagement, most of the projects don't really survive because people don't actually take ownership of such projects. Now, for community engagement, there is every need you involve the stakeholders in decision-making and service planning. Let me tell you that community engagement can actually take place right from the inception of the project to even the completion and even afterward completion. Because even after the project is being completed also, there may be need to actually have a follow-up for you actually to know how effective the project has been on the people and all of that. Is that clear? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
so,
sir.
So group interviewing can actually be used in what? In community engagement in order to actually carry the people along, for them to actually actively participate in any decision-making process. One of the purposes also of group interviewing in human services is resource efficiency, to save time and reduce what? Costs compared to what? Individual interviews. Resource efficiency. So the resource efficiency here could be in terms of maybe the amount of cash that is involved, even the time. It will be much more easier and more cost effective for you to gather people in a group and interview them rather than maybe interviewing them on individual basis. Take for instance, maybe in a community, you have actually decided to draw out a questionnaire. And that questionnaire, you have like maybe 50 respondents in just one community. And then you have decided to meet all those persons one-on-one. The cost, of course, will be more. If it were in a group, the cost will be much more cheaper. Do you understand? So it will actually be cheaper for you to actually maybe interview a group than interviewing individuals. Like that community of maybe 50 respondents, that you had 50 respondents. One, it will take you more time to actually move around to attend to those 50 respondents than if they were brought into a group. You can, it's even better, you can even split into maybe 2 or 3 groups. Out of that 50, the cost will still be less. And then the time also will be less. So group interviewing is basically used in order to achieve resource efficiency in terms of time and then reducing cost compared to what using what individual interviews. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question or any contribution?
It is clear, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so let's look at the types of group interviews. Types of group interviews. The first is that of focus group discussions. Focused group discussions. So focus group discussion here could be a group, is just a small group of between 6 to 10 persons, which discusses a topic guided by what? A moderator. So that moderator can be who?
The interviewer.
The
Interviewer or the focal person.
Okay, who could the focal person be?
the specialist.
Yes, the specialist.
The professional.
Yes, the professional, yes. Such a person could be the moderator of such a group. And mind you, here, yes, mind you, here we're saying that they could come together to discuss a particular topic. Not just in general terms. So there must be an issue they are looking at. So such a group specifically can be formed to actually discuss issues on such a topic, which could be guided by what? A moderator. So in social development works, what topic can people actually maybe form a focus group to actually discuss? Who can give an example of?
For example, sir,
Yes.
like right now, the moderator of this program online Zoom is the IMA,
Yes.
and the focus group here is you to take us on this communication skills in human services.
Okay. Yeah, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
today
so
we are discussing group interview. That's
yes,
our
as a topic. Yes, exactly. And then at my own end, I'm serving as the moderator also. Yes. Yeah. So example of such a focus group discussion could be in needs assessment, program evaluation. Do you understand? When you want to actually assess the needs of the people in an area, you can decide to use a focus group discussion. Where you can now sample their own opinion, be representing the, so that there could be fair representation of the people in such a group. Do you understand? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
When
sir.
you don't, yeah, okay. When you don't actually do this, as in having a fair representation of the people in such a group, the main persons in such a group may just be representing their own individual interests, which may not actually cut across that of the community. So as much as possible, there is need to have this consideration when you are forming such a group. And I say that these focus group discussions could be used maybe when you want to carry out a needs assessment and then program evaluation. When you want to actually try to see how the project has impacted or is impacting on the people. The second kind of group is group interview is therapeutic or stroke support groups, which could be facilitated by a counselor, focusing on what? Emotional sharing and what? Healing. Is that clear? Do you understand that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You know, like earlier, I gave you an example of maybe a group of persons, maybe that are infected with HIV and AIDS. They could actually form a group. And you can decide to have some emotional sharing with them, which in the long run can actually bring some maybe emotional healing on them. Is that clear? Or maybe a group of widows and all of that. Since they have something in common here, the facilitator or the counselor can actually try to reach out to them in order to meet their own needs. So example of such a group is maybe psychological support or mental health interventions. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So the next type of group interview is panel interviews. Panel interviews. Kind of interview. Panel interviews. Any idea?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Lucy, go ahead.
Sometimes when people go for job interviews,
Yes.
a panel is set and then they will interview, ask you questions, check your credentials, and then say who is qualified for that position or not.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Any other view?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. For me, mostly panel interview is used to get people's views on a particular topic. I don't know how it is used for people who are maybe for my beneficiaries particularly, but then it's mostly used for professionals to get their ideas, where maybe you have about 3 people asking that professional a question, or having different professionals to discuss a particular topic so that it will be dissected and appropriately.
Okay. So by panel interviews here, it's actually an assemblage of some persons. In most cases, what professionals, where they now come together to interview a group of what participants. And this could be most common when there are maybe recruitments and then maybe some training evaluations. Do you understand? This could actually be used when you want to carry out maybe recruitment. An organization may decide to assemble maybe some professionals, maybe 5 or so, to actually look into such a recruitment process, to actually take in maybe new persons. It could also be used during what? Training evaluation, where professionals now try to actually evaluate to see how well those that were trained, how well the training was actually impactful on them. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So the next.
Please come again, please. Please come again, sir.
Okay. I said panel interviews actually represent a group of what? Interviewers. In most cases, professionals that could actually come together to actually interview a group of what? Participants. And I'll give you an example of when an organization actually wants to recruit people in their workforce, they can actually assemble a team, a panel of maybe between 3 to 5 or so that can actually look into the recruitment process to actually take some persons in. Do you understand? Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
And also,
Yes, sir.
I say it can also be used during training evaluation sessions, where a panel can, by the way, how do you actually carry out a training evaluation? Any idea on that?
Okay, sir. Let me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Lucy, go ahead.
sometimes
Okay,
you
sir.
give pre and post interview.
Okay.
I mean, to ascertain their knowledge before the training, and then a post interview to ascertain their knowledge after they have been trained.
Okay. Yeah, that is okay. Yeah, Lucy, you can go ahead.
I wanted to say that, you know, maybe you are carrying out a training on a particular field.
Yeah.
And then maybe before, like most of these trainings for HIV sessions,
Yes.
they will set a post-test session where you answer some questions to know how much you know about the subject before you know the training, and then after the training you also carry out a test and then see the people who qualify to be maybe.
Okay. So what is actually a very simpler way you can actually carry out this training evaluation?
So I can add that setting a clear objectives about the training evaluation.
Okay. Yeah, all your views are correct. But then,
Positive impact after the training from the
okay.
trainee.
Okay. Now, when you are carrying out a training evaluation, there are different ways you can actually carry it out. What we are doing is a kind of training. Is it not?
Yes, it is.
Trying to what? Equip you with knowledge in communication, the skills in communication, in human services. Now, at the end of the day, if I decide to give you a test to actually assess how well the training session was, it's a training evaluation. Because from that test, from your own performance, I should be able to know that really this was actually impactful on you. You were actually carried along and all of that. And the good thing about this training evaluation is that there should be room for what? Improvement. By the time this evaluation is being carried out and you discover that there are actually some issues, loopholes, you try to build on that to actually make such a program much more effective, maybe in future. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the next kind of group is what? Problem-solving groups. Problem-solving what? Groups. Where participants can collaborate to identify issues and develop solutions. Do you understand? Problem-solving what? Groups. Where participants can what? Collaborate. What do you understand by collaboration here?
Contribute the ideas.
Yes, contribute ideas, their experiences, and all of that in order to solve a particular what? Problem. For instance, please, can you mute your microphones, please? The noise is becoming much. Okay. Yeah, so
it is.
I want, John, you want to
Can
say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
I say it's basically when the professionals or a group of certain people come together to dissect idea on how to solve a particular problem. For example, when there was a pandemic in the country, you can see how all the health workers from every nook and cranny of this town gathered in one place or the other, dissecting how to solve the problem using the NCDC and other platform to reach out to people. It's practical examples, and that's what I want to say, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So the most important thing here is that you must first of all actually identify a group. identify a problem. Do you understand? It is only when you identify a problem that you can now maybe form a group or bring together a group in trying to actually solve such a problem. Is that clear? Now, if in a community, maybe they have been, maybe a light project, electrification project was carried out in a community, and then you discover that maybe the transformer or the electrical fittings also have been what? Vandalized. The community can actually come together in a group to actually find ways on how to resolve such an issue. The issue in this case, the vandalization of what? The electrical what? Fittings in such a community. Is that clear? So the most important thing here is that a problem must first be identified so that a group can actually be formed to actually solve or proffer solutions to such a problem. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah, so for instance, we say a community what? Development. I just gave an example, maybe where the community infrastructure has been vandalized. Also, the group can come together to actually find solution to that. Then there could also be case what? Conferencing. When you discover that there is, for instance, maybe issues of kidnapping and all of that, the community can come together. A conference can actually be organized to actually look into that. Maybe there have been rampant cases of what? Exam misconduct in maybe secondary schools. The exam bodies at the secondary level, like WAEC or NECO, may decide to actually organize a conference to actually proffer solutions to such a problem. So these are the different ways that group interviews would actually manifest in. And for the problem-solving groups, we have a very good example, community development and then case conferencing. The next one is type of group interviews is what? Community forums. Community what? Forums. Does any of you have an idea about this? Community forums. Is there any idea?
Yes, sir. Let me try.
Okay, please do.
A community forum can be a certain group of people within the community. Maybe the Community Development Association or the Community Elite Group, or there can be a Community Women Associations or a Community Market Association, Women Market Association, as the case may be. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So for community forums here, what is basically obtainable here is that these forums could be made up of large-scale open group discussions. Do you understand? Large-scale open group discussions. I know that even on our social media platforms, we have communities, community forums. Am I right?
Very correct, sir.
Okay, so what is the what is the capacity in terms of number?
So sometimes it can even grow as far as more than even 500 people within the community join that kind of same group.
Yes.
Or even less than that.
Okay, yes. But they're actually what? Large scale what? Groups, community forums.
Yes, sir.
And such forums or communities would also have what? Moderators to actually guide the interactions that goes on there. Of course, for such groups, there could be people of what? Diverse what? Views, behavior, knowledge, skill, and all of that. So it's very important to actually have some set rules in place guiding such a group. Not that anyone behaves the way he or she wants. Do you understand? Since it's a large scale open group discussions, it could actually admit a lot of persons, different group of people with different backgrounds. And so there is every need to actually what? Have rules in place to actually check such a group. That is why I told you that there could be what? Group moderators. In some of our social media platforms that we have communities, there could be admins, right? Community admins. Is it not so? Are you following?
Yes.
Yeah, so such community forums
It
can
is, sir.
actually, yes. So such admins in the community forums can actually try to moderate the activities of such group so that there won't actually be what? Excesses in such a group. Is that clear? So a very good example is a what? When you're looking at a policy input and then social what? Mobilization. Is that clear? Any question?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm not clear about that point because my network keeps fluctuating. So if you can take it once more, I'll be happy. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying that one of the groups we have is what? Is community forums. Community forums. And I said that these community forums are large-scale open group what? Discussions. Large-scale open what? Group discussions, where a lot of people could come together. And I gave you a very good example of most of our social media platforms. Let's say on WhatsApp, we have communities on WhatsApp. And these community forums don't just operate. There has to be some moderators, maybe community admins, to actually guide how the discussions go on in such communities. Is that clear? Mind you, this is a large group with people coming from different backgrounds, different maybe professional backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and all of that. And so there is every need for an administrator to actually what? Moderate the activities. And to moderate the activities of such a group, it therefore means that there has to be some rules in place guiding such a group. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Can you tell me, don't Can you refer to them as constitutions, or you mean? Can they be
No,
said as constitution?
not quite. It may not actually be constitution. Maybe just by laws also. You know, when you have a WhatsApp community, you have a WhatsApp community of some persons also. Maybe people working in an organization. That maybe such an organization have a workforce of up to 200, 300, and all of that. And then they decide to form a community where most of them join also. That is not actually an official working place. It is just maybe an interest group or something. So they can just bring in maybe bylaws or written laws just to guide their own conduct there. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
When you are talking about constitution, it therefore means such laws have to undergo some processes, different stages, before they can actually be approved to actually become maybe a constitution. In this case, that may not really be the case. Do you understand? That may not really be the case. You can just pen down maybe some ground rules also that, okay, on this platform, you don't need to post any citing and maybe statements or news and all of that. No use of vulgar language and all of that. Do you understand? So
yes,
these
sir.
are just, yes, these are just ground rules that could be put in place to actually guide such a group. Since the people are actually coming from different backgrounds, so that you actually guide them. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any other question or contribution from any of you? Any question or contribution?
No question at my end, sir.
Oh, okay. So let's look at the techniques used in group interviewing. The techniques that you adopt during a group interviewing. What are the things that you need to do in carrying out a group interviewing? The first is that of what? Preparation. And how do you prepare? You first of all define the objectives. What are actually the objectives of such a group? You need to what? Clarify the aim by collecting what? Data, support, and feedback, etc. So at the preparation stage, it becomes incumbent on the moderator to actually try to work, or even as a group itself, the entire group, to define what the objectives are. If they're coming together because of a particular problem, and it should be known that, okay, it is because of so problem that such a group is being formed in order to what? To look at those issues. Do you understand? And such objectives should be stated in clarity terms. And you can do that by actually collecting what? Data, support, and even feedback from members. Is that clear? Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, under the same preparation, you also need to what? Select participants. You can select what? Participants.
Yes.
So in selecting participants, you can use purposive or stratified sampling to ensure what? Diversity or relevance. Do you understand? So how do you select your participants purposively? How do you select your participants purposively? Any idea? How do you select the participants purposively?
By way of selecting participants purposefully is the researcher or the case worker select the participant based on.
Yeah, Jiba, you are lost.
Okay. Okay, purposefully means the researcher or the social worker may select those who may respond to his questions directly, maybe by professionalism or by expertise.
Okay. Yeah, so by purposive selection here, what we mean is that you actually select persons who are what? Who have knowledge of what you are looking for. Not just anybody. If it pertains a health issue, then you can be looking for maybe medical doctors or medical personnel to form such a group. And as such, you select such persons. Is that clear? If it is for educational purposes, you select those that are, yes, and in academics or educationally what inclined, that have educational background. So that is the purposive sampling here. You don't just bring in anybody. For the fact that one is a member of that community does not automatically make him what? A member of such a group, or he can't automatically be selected if he doesn't meet some criteria for such selection. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then for stratified sampling, how do you select your population or your respondents using stratified sampling?
Based on strata.
So what is the strata here?
Okay, strata here, maybe in a facility, is an example.
Demography.
Demography. Okay, yes. You know, by Lucy, you want to say something?
I had said demography.
Okay, yes. So by stratified sampling, what it means is that you can now decide to select persons, maybe using some
There
maybe
are so many
demographic.
people doing different. You will pick nurses and.
No, just as he said, maybe on demographic basis, such that after taking a particular local government, you can decide to now go to the next stage, maybe taking persons from different wards. Is that clear? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all of this is being done to ensure what? Diversity or relevance. So that you try to actually accommodate different views of different persons. to actually make such a group rich. Is that clear? Can we proceed? Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the next one is design guide stroke protocol. Mind you, all of these are under preparation. Preparation what? Stage. You design what? Guide stroke protocol. Here you try to create an interview guide with open-ended questions. You try to create an interview guide with open-ended questions. So simply, here you try to actually draw out what? Questions, open-ended questions that people are going to answer. As a moderator here, or as a professional here, at the preparation stage, you need to design the guide or protocol where you now bring out open-ended questions, questions that would actually address that issue or the issues at hand. And you leave them open-ended, not kind of rigid questions, but you allow, you giving questions, allowing participants to freely express themselves and then express their views and thoughts on such an issue. Is that clear? Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're
Okay,
not
so
too
the
clear.
next, I said by design guide or protocol, what we mean is that you need to create an interview guide. Interview
Yes, sir.
guide is just a set of questions, because you cannot just leave the discussion like that. There should be, mind you, you have actually identified an issue, a problem, which you want to tackle. And so you design some questions, open-ended questions, so that they will guide the discussion during such a group interview. Do you understand? So as much as possible, I'm saying that it's better to leave those questions open-ended so that the participants can freely express what? Their own views. Is that clear? Do you understand that? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's proceed. The next stage under preparation is that of what? Plan. You need to plan what? Logistics. You need to plan logistics. Logistics here could be in terms of maybe the venue. How can people access such a venue? And then time management too. These are issues that could be looked under logistics here. You need to plan all of this very well. Do you understand? You need to choose a neutral venue. You need to ensure accessibility and manage your time. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. This one is clear.
Okay. So
Yes,
the
sir.
the next stage, okay, hope no issue. Fire, you have a problem? Any question or contribution?
We are good to go, sir.
Go ahead,
Okay.
sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the next stage is that of facilitation techniques. Facilitation what? Techniques. I told you the first stage is that of what? Preparation. So the second stage is the facilitation techniques. The first thing you need to know under facilitation techniques is active listening. Active what? Listening, where you show what? Empathy and engagement. Where you show what? Empathy and engagement. Try to show some level of concern. Let the people know that you...
I'm hearing something.
Yeah, so you need to, as a moderator, you need to show that you actually care for the people and you really feel the way they are feeling as much as possible. Is that clear? And you can do that by actually showing empathy. Mind you, you are discussing an issue that actually bothers the people so much, and then maybe you are busy pressing your phone and all of that, or looking, you are talking to the people and then you are just looking somewhere else. It's not good enough. They will take it that you actually don't feel so much about them. You don't feel their pain or what their own issues are. You are really not so bothered about it. And you need to show that engagement. Please, Silas, let's have one class. You can mute your microphone, please. Thank you. Yeah, so you can show some level of engagement with them. You try to actually engage them. As you are listening, you also try to engage them, listen to them, and then for them to actually send back their own replies or feedback. Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next item under that facilitation is probing. Probing. Here you need to use follow-up questions to elicit deeper responses. You know, after the people must have actually narrated their own views or positions, then you can now go ahead, maybe in another way to ask. So you mean that this and that actually happened? Is that what you are saying and all of that? Is that clear? So you actually use follow-up questions. You know, naturally there are some things that give rise to certain questions for an issue to actually be made more clearer. Is that understood? Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
So as much as
Yes,
possible,
sir.
you try to use those follow-up questions in order to what? To elicit deeper responses from the members of the group. The next thing is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing. Here you need to restate the word comments to confirm understanding. So after the people, maybe after they have narrated all their views or so, you can use another way to ask them those questions just for validation. So you mean this and that happened? You try to actually paraphrase, or what they have said, you use other words to say it in another way, just to be sure of what they are saying. Is that clear? Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any question or contribution? Any question or contribution? Is there any question or contribution?
Okay, so
Move on, sir.
please, I have a question. I have a question, sir. What
Okay,
is the
John, please.
difference between probing and paraphrasing?
Okay, probing.
What is the difference between and paraphrasing?
Okay, probing is that you are just using follow-up questions, just normal questions. Do you understand? To actually elicit deeper responses. Deeper responses. So that, you know, there are some questions you ask somebody that the person can even go deeper to give you a more deeper information on what he's talking of. Do you understand?
That's very true.
Yes, so those are follow-up questions. You know, by the time you ask this question, the person answers you. Then from that answer, there could still be what? Some follow-up questions to actually make the person actually give you more deeper responses or information on such an issue. But then for paraphrasing, then it's the same thing the person said, but then you just want to be sure. And then you want to confirm that they actually understand what you're talking about and all of that. So you now restate the comments, those same comments, maybe by breaking it down in simpler words or so. Do you understand? You break it down.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So probing and paraphrasing are actually different. For probing, you can ask follow-up questions to elicit what? Deeper responses. Whereas in paraphrasing, you can just restate the comments of the people so that you try to confirm their own understanding of the subject matter or what the issue is. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So the next thing under facilitation is clarification. Clarification. Here you try to seek clarity where responses are vague or what? Confusing. Somebody has said something and they just left it like that without actually making a definite stand. Without making any definite stand. There is no clarity at all. So you try to ask some questions for you to get responses to actually bring some level of what? Clarity on such a subject matter or such an issue. Is that clear? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so the next stage is that of what? Group, is that of what? Preparation. No, sorry.
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay, sir. I am seeing a very thin line between clarity and clarification and probing, because when you want to seek clarity, you are definitely going to probe. So I don't know whether there are two distinct things, because when you say things that are vague, I will probe to know more details.
Okay.
And then in moving, in those details, there will be clarity. So I'm just thinking whether there are two distinct things.
Yes.
For me, I'm seeing a very thin line between the two.
Okay, yes, that is true. But then in strict terms, they are different. For probing, you need to use follow-up questions to elicit what? Deeper responses. Yes, the person has actually answered you. You have gotten the point. But then you want him to go deeper. Do you understand? In making these submissions, you actually understood what the person is saying, but then you actually want the person to actually go ahead and give more information on such a subject matter. Whereas for clarification, the person has said something so vague, left it like that with no conclusion, no headway. Do you understand? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, sir.
So the thing becomes more confusing than it was. So here you try to actually seek clarification. You can now, so now with what you are saying, what is now your position on this? Because you have not made any position. It's just so vague. So probing and clarity, they are actually different things. For probing, you try to seek deeper responses. Whereas for clarification, you what? For clarification, you try to what? Seek clarity by making people to give clear responses on very confusing what? Issues. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the next stage is that of group management techniques. Group management techniques. So what do you understand by group management techniques here? How do you go about it?
Okay, let me say something.
These are modality or techniques you gathered while trying to handle the group of some people.
Please, can I get you again? Can you come again?
I said these are modality handling the group of people.
Okay. Okay, yes. So by group techniques, the first thing you need to do there is trying to what? Encourage participation. And you can do that in using prompts to involve quiet members. Do you understand? That is to say that in a group, maybe some persons are just hijacking the group. Some persons have taken over the group. They're just the ones that are dominating, talking in the group. You can decide to maybe prompt some members, the quiet ones, so that they can also air out their own views. So that at the end of the day, it won't look as if some selected few were just used in such group interview. So as much as possible, you try to encourage active participation of all members. And as much as possible, you need to discourage a few members of the group taking over or hijacking the group. You need to make them understand that each member of the group is important. and the views are equally important. Is that clear? Are you clear with that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So under that group management techniques, we have handling what? Dominance. I briefly mentioned it, handling dominance. Gently redirect over talkative what? Participants. Some people in a group, if you leave them from the beginning of the discussion to the end, they don't mind taking over. Just taking charge of the group. As a professional, and then
Exactly. Example, Jigba.
No,
Jigba,
Jigba is
oh,
not taking over. No, Jigba is not taking over Jigba is not taking over the group. He has only been raising questions and then his own concerns. The same way every other person is doing.
We are just pulling his leg.
Yeah.
That's on a lighter mood, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Boss, if you give Jigba a chance, he will take over the lecture.
Okay, it's all right. So what we're saying is that you need to handle dominance. Don't allow some few individuals to actually take over the group. It will actually jeopardize the goal for actually setting up such a group. Because others may feel that, well, some have actually taken over the group, so they don't actually have a stake in the group. And so at the end of the day, the goals being set for the group may not be met. Why? Because some few individuals took over such a group, and it won't actually be good or healthy for the group. The next one is you need to manage conflict. You need to manage conflict. And how do you manage a conflict here? You need to use diplomacy and ground rules to handle what? Disagreements. You use diplomacy. As much as possible, you try to be polite enough. Even when somebody, maybe as the moderator of the group, as a professional, the one being in charge of the group, handling the group, when somebody maybe does something that you are not really comfortable with, there's every need you use diplomacy. You don't need to be so raw in your own approach. That may actually bring in more conflicts and may worsen the situation. So as much as possible, you need to what? Bring in what? Diplomacy and use ground rules to handle certain disagreements. As I told you, for instance, maybe on a community, on a social media communities, there are moderators, administrators, and there are ground rules governing such what? Communities or groups. And once somebody goes outside the rules, you bring the person's attention to it. If it is a message that you need to pull down as an administrator, you do it. So as much as possible, you try to manage conflicts in such a group amicably. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next thing is timekeeping. You need to monitor time per topic. Questions to maintain what? Schedule. You need to monitor time per topic. Take, for instance, the lectures we're having. It's not as if there is no fixed time for it, that we can just continue to have lecture for the whole day. No. there is a time within which we need to have our lectures. And so we need to work towards maximally using such time so that we don't go outside it. By the time we now begin to digress, go into some other trivial issues, jokes, and all of that, we may end up not actually covering the much we're supposed to cover. So as much as possible, you need to be conscious about what? Timekeeping, where you try to monitor the time per topic or the questions to maintain the schedules. Mind you, there could be timelines in maybe some projects and all of that. So as much as possible, there is every need you try to keep to the schedule of those timelines. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question or contribution? Any question or contribution? Okay, let's look at the advantages of group interviewing in human services. Advantages of group interviewing in human services. The first advantage is that it is cost effective. Why is it cost effective? Because it saves time and resources compared to individual interviews. I gave you an example earlier. If you want to maybe interview like 50 persons in a community, it will actually take you more time and resources if you have to do that on individual basis. Maybe meet them individually to get their responses than bringing them together as a group to actually get that same information. It will actually save your time and then the resources, other resources to actually interview them in a group. Is that clear? Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
the next advantage is synergistic data. Here, the participants may build on each other's ideas. There is synergy in data collection, where people bring in their views as a group. Mr. A bring in his own views, Mr. B like that. So these all ideas are being harnessed together to actually arrive at a common decision. At the end of the day, with those diverse views, a problem can actually be solved. A solution can be gotten for that particular problem for which the group was being formed. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So the next advantage is observational insights. You here allow observations of group dynamics and non-verbal cues. You allow observations of group dynamics and non-verbal cues. What do you understand by non-verbal cues here? What do you understand by non-verbal cues here?
Their behavior,
I
or
think
probably
non-verbal
their
cues.
insights.
Okay,
Facial
let me
expression.
understand you. What? Okay, yeah, facial expressions.
Facial expression,
Yes, that's
body
exactly what I'm
language,
saying.
eye
Okay, yes.
contact, and tone of voice.
Yes, yes. You can allow observation of group dynamics. what are actually the changes that are actually taking place in such a group? Yeah, the changes of those you can observe maybe their own changes through what verbal means with what they are saying, but at the same time it could also involve some verbal what gestures. So as much as possible, you should be observant so that you'll be able to know what the group actually feels at different times and in different situations. The next one is that of empowerment, where the participants feel heard and involved in what? Decision making. Is that clear? Empowerment, where the participants feel heard and involved in what? In decision making. As much as possible, you need to make the participants have a sense of belonging. Make them feel that this meeting is our own thing, not just your own thing. That your own is just to collect data or information from them. Their own position doesn't really count. No. Make them feel that they actually have that sense of belonging. Let them feel that they are actually involved in the decision-making process. With that, they will be more willing to actually contribute positively and more constructively. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay, so the next advantage is that of what? Community building. Community building, where you need to encourage solidarity and shared what? Understanding. You need to encourage what? Solidarity and what? Shared understanding. Let the people actually work together. Let them actually share some views, aspirations. Let them feel that they actually have things in common, and as such, share their own views and aspirations together. Let them actually work together. You need to actually encourage them so that they will actually work together. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So let's look at the challenges of group interviewing. The challenges of group interviewing. The first is groupthink. That is, conformity may limit honest or diverse responses. Conformity may what? Limit honest or diverse responses. Do you understand? Do you understand that point?
You can break it down for us, sir.
Okay, I said groupthink here. We are saying that here, what we are saying, as much as possible, if you just leave the group like that, their own conformity may actually limit honest or diverse responses. Mind you, I told you for every group, there are ground rules. And then the members of such a group need to actually conform to the rules of the group, not going outside it. And that's why there is a moderator or an administrator in such a group. So as much as possible, by the time you leave the people, there is that high degree of conformity, which may now limit them actually expressing their own sincere views or honest views or diverse responses. Do you understand? provided it is outside the ground rules or so, no matter how good an idea such a person has, he or she may not have to aid out, or it may not be taken. So it's actually a challenge to group interviewing. Do you understand? I don't know whether you understand that now.
Yes, sir, I've gotten it.
Yes, so basically what we're saying here is that the members actually try to conform to the rules of the group. And when they try to actually conform to the rules of the group, it may hinder them in actually expressing themselves, their sincere views or diverse views on issues. So that may actually affect how well such a problem can be tackled. The next one is dominant voices, where some may overshadow quieter members. Some persons may just decide to take over the group, hijack the group. So that becomes a problem on the group. The next one is sensitive topics, where participants may feel unsafe. Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
On that dominant voices,
yes.
We as like categorize the inferiority complex on the members, the quietness.
It may
some
not
may
just
see
be
inferiority complex.
No, it may not just be an issue of inferiority complex. But I told you earlier, some persons in the group, if you just give them that opportunity, before you know, they have hijacked the group, they have taken over the group. So it's just that they can't just give another person the chance. Before you know, they have just taken over the group. Do you understand?
Yes.
So it becomes a problem. So as much as possible, you need to make every member of the group have a sense of belonging. So sensitive, the next challenge is that of sensitive topics, where participants may feel unsafe sharing personal issues. Where participants may feel unsafe sharing personal issues. You are actually talking to a group, maybe on health issue. Now, for maybe some members of the group that are suffering from maybe some particular ailments, they may not actually want to disclose such in a group gathering. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear. It is.
Okay, take for instance, somebody was talking about maybe a girl who has actually carried out abortion, or who has actually been engaged in a series of maybe abortions or so. Now, if there is a health talk on discouraging abortions or so, a lady in such a group may actually not be willing to actually come out to share her own experiences or so based on that particular topic. She may feel that it is actually personal, maybe out of shame and all of that, stigmatization and all of that. Such a person may decide to hold such information. So it becomes so challenging during group interviews. The next thing is logistical issues. Trying to schedule a venue, setting it up, it can actually be so complex at times. Maybe the transportation to such a place, movement of the people there, and all of that. All these are logistic issues and could be challenging during group interviewing. Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
The next one is confidentiality. That is risk of breaching participant privacy. The risk of breaching participants what? breaching participants' one privacy. You know, in the group, maybe somebody has actually discussed with you in what? In confidence. And the person really wants it so private and confidential. And then you begin to maybe air it out in the group. It becomes a very big challenge. Exactly, it becomes a very big challenge to such a group. Is that clear? Is that point clear? Is that point clear? Confidentiality.
Yes, sir, it is. It
Yes,
is.
sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the ethical considerations in group interviewing? What are the ethical considerations? First, we need to be mindful of informed consent. That is, clearly explain the purpose and nature of the group session. Clearly what? Explain the purpose and nature of the group session. Informed consent. Make the people know quite ahead of time that the group interview you are having with them is on so subject matter, so that some of them can really be make their findings and all of that, and maybe be armed themselves with the necessary information that is needed. Don't just take them unaware. And let them be willing. Don't coerce them. You don't need to coerce them into participating into such a session. So you need to actually seek their consent by telling them that this is the subject matter, this is the issue at hand that you want to discuss with them on. Let them give you their own consent, whether they're okay with it or not. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, the next ethical consideration is that of confidentiality. Yeah, the next ethical consideration in group interviewing is that of what? Confidentiality. Here you need to emphasize that shared information should not leave the group. What the group has shared with you in trust, you need to hold it as such. It will be very wrong if, as a counselor, you are tending to maybe people living with HIV/AIDS, and then you now decide to what? Disclose their status to people. They are actually okay with that group because it's a homogeneous kind of group. But then you now take it, so they feel free discussing among themselves, their own issues among themselves. But where you now take, and they also hold you in confidence, where you now have to go and discuss all of this that they have discussed with you to the outside world, you have actually breached that ethical issue of confidentiality, and it is not right. So the next one is voluntary participation. You need to ensure that the participants are not what? Coerced. You don't need to force. You don't need to force any member or anybody to actually participate in the group interview. As much as possible, it should be voluntary, as much as possible. Then the next ethical consideration is that of cultural sensitivity. You need to be respectful of participants' cultural norms and beliefs. How will you, as a social development worker, how will you go to a place and then decide to what? Corner somebody's wife that you want to talk to the person? Give some, maybe a talk to the person also. Or how will you just decide to go in a place and then decide to gather people's wives that you actually want to engage them, have a group interview with them without maybe seeking the consent or maybe even the husbands. In most cultures, that could be culturally wrong. And as such, they may not take it lightly with you in most cases. Is it true or false?
It's very true, sir.
True, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so the next one is managing what? Trauma-informed approach. You need to avoid triggering sensitive what? Experiences. You need to avoid triggering what? Sensitive experiences. Issues that could really make people so scared. Maybe you are talking to people, maybe, for instance, as I gave you example earlier on a gathering of what people living with HIV/AIDS. And then, oh, you are just saying, maybe you are just instilling maybe fear in them that this disease, in fact, once you contact it, start preparing for your death and all of you understand? It will actually trigger their emotions. So as much as possible, you need to avoid triggering what? Sensitive what? Experiences. Rather, you need to find a way of seeing how you can actually support them emotionally, even in those issues. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, so what are the best practices for conducting group interviews? You need to what? First, create a safe environment. You need to set the ground rules, respect all contributions from members, ensure physical, emotional what? Safety. The second practice is that you need to use a skilled facilitator. Such can be trained in group dynamic. Those facilitators could be trained in group what? Dynamics, managing different groups, people with diverse views and opinions. Then such a facilitator can be trained in the aspect of communication and conflict resolution. The next issue, you need to balance structure and what? Flexibility. As much as possible, the interview should be as flexible as anything, not so rigid.
Sir.
Eh? Any question?
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
We talk about ensuring physical and emotional safety.
Yes.
For group interview. So the question is, in an environment where you want to hold that interview, probably you don't know that environment very well. How can you now guarantee the safety of those people within that environment as an individual coming from outside to hold an interview with those group of people? Because you don't know whether maybe the young boys there during the interview, they may come and obstruct and do some other things, and maybe anything physical could happen to them. Or is it that you move them from their place to another place by your own self? You do that arrangement, or who will do the arrangement, sir? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, we talked about logistics. We talked about logistics. And one of the things that could be involved in logistics is even the issues of security. You can decide to use the local security outfit, maybe the local vigilante in such areas. In this, well, in most places these days, you discover that if you go for maybe like burials, you discover that the local vigilante, they take it upon themselves to actually provide security in some of those barriers, or maybe ceremonies being held in the communities. Do you understand? So,
Yes, sir, I do.
yes, as a development worker, going to such a place, you need to seek partnership with maybe the local security outfit there. Since you may even be a stranger in such a place, they might be the best people maybe to actually provide the security. Why? Because they know they know the terrain. You know the kind of maybe the villages, the rural communities we have. In most cases, and so by the time they even provide the security, environment much more conducive and much more secured. So you may not necessarily have to move them elsewhere. Such interview can take place in their own community, but then you need to partner with the local security or the security outfit to actually provide security for such an interview. Is that clear?
Very clear,
Very
sir.
clear, sir. Very clear.
Okay, it's okay. So I said you need to balance, another thing, you need to balance structure and flexibility, where you need to use a guide, but you need to be open to what emergent themes. In as much as you need to be flexible, there may be issues that may come up. You know, I told you earlier, at times there are some questions that you may ask. There are some responses you get that may now give rise to other issues. So as much as possible, you make such an interview as flexible as possible. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
So the next thing is you need to record and analyze responsibly. Here, you need to do that with their own consent. You can record maybe with maybe audio record or taking detailed notes, but that has to do with their own consent. You don't just have to go ahead to maybe snap people or maybe record their conversation and all of that. They need to give their own consent over that. You analyze the patterns, themes, and non-verbal cues. As much as possible, you need to try in analyzing the patterns, the themes. How is the communication flowing?
We can't hear you again, sir.
His network has freezed.
Is it over? Is the lecture over?
No, his network throw him out. Let's wait and let him come back.
Okay. Kai, network na wahala today.
Is it Jigba talking?
Of course.
I didn't have a flow
Jigba.
lecture today.
Okay.
Ah,
If the material would have been with you,
Jigba,
would
my
have.
friend, good morning.
How you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Jiba, sorry, Mr. Jiba.
Yeah, sir.
Actually, I missed your call.
Okay, I wanted to tell you that what I dropped on the social on our group chat that he will be meeting us in 30 minutes time because he locked off
Okay.
his key and the laptop. That was what the message. So I remember that I have to drop it at the group
Okay.
chat so that he can, yeah.
Okay. So sorry about that.
Hello, good.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's back.
So yeah. So sorry. I was thrown out. Yeah, but we have actually come to the end of our class. Actually.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here, sir.
I thought
Yes,
you
sir.
were trying to explain best practices. So thank you so much for. Yes. So thank you.
All right, sir.
Yes, I actually explained those practices
So are we
where I
are we
said you need to seek their consent. Are you expecting what?
I say, are we expecting an assignment from you?
I'm looking at a test.
Oh,
So text will be good, but we don't have time. Oh.
Sir,
So
please
if we can
So,
if you can help and
do you
give us
people know that you are coming?
assignments so we can have time. Yes, we are
But do
coming for 1
you
week.
people know that you
1
are
week
coming to campus for revision?
Yeah, yes, on the 4th. Starting from the
Yes, sir.
4th, we are coming. And if you look at
test is good.
the nature of this the nature of this program, it's not going to be easy for us anyway. So yeah, I don't know whether if I'm speaking the mind of the class, and because there's already one on our platform that we have been.
Yes,
The
please, you're
reactions are
speaking
not
our
too
mind, sir.
favorable.
Carry on, sir, please.
Okay,
Because
the
lots
reactions
of
are
us
not
are coming
favorable,
far
sir.
away.
So, sir, if it is possible, even if it's an individual
Okay.
assignment, just give us, sir.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, you are
Yes,
speaking
sir.
to the as well. You are speaking the right thing because the nature of the revision, sir. We are having lectures 9 to 12, and from that I break 1 hour is 1 to 4 p.m. of our revision week. And it may not give us time to read for any of the tests because the lecture itself is not giving us the space, the revision week.
Okay.
Yes, more
So,
safe man and
Okay.
please,
So
you're speaking our mind.
it's bleeding, sir. You can
okay.
consider
So
with us.
I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to give you individual assignment.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
sir.
sir. God bless you, sir.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So every one of you, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
This will be your own assignment. I want you to discuss. I want
Are you hearing me?
I hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. We're all yes.
Okay. Maybe I should send it to you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. That would be
I will
great
send
because
the
of the
question.
network, sir. That would be great. Because
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 of
you
the
are breaking up.
Sir,
It's okay.
sir,
All right.
sir.
So thank you so much for the time, and maybe I wish maybe we'll meet. Maybe
Thank
when
you
you
very
also
much for
come
the lecture, sir.
for
Thank you very much.
this revision
Thank
and
you
all of
very
that.
much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you
for the
so
time.
much, sir.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome.
So we
Thank you, sir.
appreciate you greatly, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Yeah, it's all right. Thanks. Bye bye.
Am I free to end the class?
Yes, is that goodness?
Yes.
Yeah, you're the host. You can end the class.
Goodness, small admin with them give
Any
you no say make we
announcement?
breathe before anything.
Oh,
Abi.
guys, don't
And
coordinate
goodness.
yourself. Oh.
Any
At the
assignment?
host, not
Any
easy.
announcement?
Goodness is the
Okay,
host
no.
today.
Okay.
We are in
So
her hand.
the announcement I want to drop will be that for those of us who are coming outside of Makurdi, we will try to gather some information, accurate information to give you, so that when you are coming to the school, you will not miss your way like Goodness was doing when she went for registration.
Fine, and it's
So
not your
we
fault.
so I will gather those information, because even the lecture halls they are calling, I don't know them myself. So
It's
I will
good.
Mama
gather
pay
them,
me, make
particularly
I run am.
for those students who for those of our classmates who are from Unagric and they know those places.
You
So
will
Fine,
find out from there so that you let us know. We don't know. That you
sir,
let us
sir,
know.
This is Desmond. My
Whether
undergraduate was BSc.
whether it is not
So
come
me, I'm
or
following you that
whether
day to
it
school. You
is
show me the errands of that
not come
school.
no. The truth
or
is that
south. So we know.
the truth is that I don't know Unagric like that. When I went there for my postgraduate, and then it was strictly my class, not to do side waka. So I did it and then
Okay,
I
I
left.
understand. I
You
understand. You
understand?
said yes.
So if it were engineering complex, I can direct you anything around that side. But when they start telling you South Core, farm, and all of those ones, I think if you are
They are
going,
saying
you
not
have to
call here.
enter the
I
farm.
don't think we have
No,
any
North
thing
Core
to
is
do
not
with South
enough.
Pole.
North Core is not enough.
North
Okay.
Core is not enough.
I think
Where in North
where
Core?
are
So that
we
we know.
going? You understand? We
Mm-hmm.
have North Core, we have South Core, we have Middle Core. We need to put these things together particularly for those who are coming in new, so that they will know where they are going to.
Thank you so
That's
much,
very
Fine.
good.
And
That's
then
very good, sir.
and then
Thank you.
it starts with how you are going to board the car. Because if you board a car to South Core, when you drop there, now there you go no say you supposed to enter another one, drag with students, go North Core.
God, I beg you.
You
Drag with
understand?
students.
So
You are equally a student. So if you drag
no, you are
with
an advanced
students, no
student. Now, maybe person
problem.
no go push you.
You need to
Yeah, they go push
activate
you.
your
Those guys, they
Lagos
know.
handling skills.
Okay, so we will arrange those things and then post it, so that when you come to
Thank you, sir.
SRS Junction, you know that okay, I'm boarding a car to not just North Core. There's one we call farm. So that they will not drop you and they will start looking for your bike to go around farm where you locate certain places. So I will communicate with you guys shortly.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
the
much.
rest
And
of your
again,
weekend,
another
everyone.
thing I want to tell you, just like we're saying on our group, sir, Fire, if there's a way to do that, please. Thank you. So we can have time for our revision.
Okay. And then I think that's the first class, right? That's the first lecture. So I will discuss with
Yes.
him. It's not something we discuss here actually. So Goodness will just end the class. I will take it off from there and see how we can move. But then I want to tell you
Thank you,
that
sir.
we are likely not to succeed with the person concerned. Goodness, just end
Yes.
it.
But we can try that.
Mr. Chairman,
It is well.
Mr. Chairman, please Call me on WhatsApp
Yes.
now. Call me now. Goodness, end
It's
this
okay. I will. Thank
meeting.
you.